Hello, Chanel.
Hi.
Who we got there?
This is Whimsy.
It's little Whimsy. So what we're going to do here is a video, which is going to be a two-part video. The first part is this dog has just got here, well, 2 days ago, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about her history. But she just got here and she's about to go for a health check. But we're going to show you what we do for a health check to make sure that we don't think there's any problems before we go to the actual vet. So we're going to do that as the first part. And then we're going to talk as well, probably in the second video, is going to be evaluating this dog in terms of structure and what we think about. So let's go put her down on the ground.
She's a little bit chilly right now.
Well, she just had a little bath and it's windy as heck out here, but so she's a little bit chilly. She's got her ears down, but let's go ahead and put her down on the ground and see whether she wants to go. And so first part of this evaluation is happy, gay little dog. Very happy little dog. So socially, this dog is in great shape. This is a good thing. You know, you get some dogs that are pretty shy. That's maybe okay. I like to see a dog that's a little bit adventurous, that wants to be
confident.
She is very confident, isn't she? That's a great. That's exactly the way I describe it. She's very confident, and she's confident around the other dogs. She's, by the way, she is quarantined, so she's going to be quarantined for the next 2 weeks, about another actually 11 days before she's in general circulation, because you know you never know whether she might have some problem that she's got that we don't know about. It doesn't
Better safe than sorry.
That's right, better safe than sorry. She's had 2 sets of shots, which is what she should have had because she's 9.5 weeks old. Okay, I think at this point, yeah. Well, let's. I want to show something else while we got on the ground. Look at her gait. You want to see whether she's got knockout legs. Does she walk with nice straight legs? And the answer is she absolutely does. She's got nice straight legs, no flying knees. That is something that we're going to talk more about when we actually do the evaluation. But structurally she looks good, she walks well, she's a happy little dog. So first indications is that this dog is probably just absolutely fine. Okay, let's go take her inside and we're going to give her the old once over. All right. Okay, next shot's going to be in the house. Okay, so you saw this little girl outside. She is a little wriggle puss. She is really a friendly little girl. So it's going to be a little bit rough to do this. But what we're going to do here is we'll do a second evaluation that's going to be based on the structure of the dog. But what we're going to be talking about in this first video is going to be how do you look at a dog to see whether or not she's healthy or if there's any problems. So the first thing is you saw her outside, you saw how she's behaving outside. She's walking nicely, she's nice and straight. That gives me a good indication that things are good. She is a very, very happy little puppy. So that's also another indication that things are good. But it doesn't mean that everything is okay. So now we are literally going to give her a once over from the tip of her nose to the back of her feet. Okay, so I know this is going to be difficult for me, but let's start by, I'm going to move over here. Let's start by looking at her face. So the first thing is, do we see any kind of drainage coming out of her nose? Can you get a close-up on her nose there? How's that nose look, Chanel?
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. No, so what we'd be looking for is like the signs of a cold or drainage. That would be an indication there's something going on, some kind of respiratory infection. And that needs to be pointed out when you go to the vet, and she may need to be on antibiotics. That's not the case here. So a couple of other things. This dog is 9.5 weeks old. She's had 2 sets of shots. She's had shots at 6 weeks, and she's had shots at 9 weeks, and she'll get the next set of shots at 12 weeks. She's been wormed, and I've got a complete report, and I'll tell you where this dog came from because it's one of our friends, Faith Skinner. Faith Skinner, who is Faith Skinner and Lynn Johnson. They are world-class Frenchies, world-famous Frenchies, by the way, is their moniker. We've known Faith for a long time. Very, very reliable. Produces really beautiful puppies, and I think this is a stellar example of what she produces. But we'll talk more about that when we start talking about structure in the next video. So here we're talking about health. All right, so nose. Nose looks good. How are the nose openings? Does she have, and she's a wriggle puss, does she have nice open nares? Can you see her nares?
Yes.
Nice open nares. She's not having any of that. She's not snorty. She's not, are you? You're not like that. If she had closed nares, we'd hear a lot more snorting than what we're hearing. So she's got nice open nares. What do you do if you've got closed nares? Well, you don't like to see closed nares, but it's not the end of the world. You can get it fixed. So, you know, this dog is going to have some puppies at some point, hopefully, and we'd like her to have nice open nares because we want that to be passed along to her puppies. All right, so far we've got this little nose part taken care of. Right, now we're going to take a look at her mouth. So the next thing would be her bite. This is going to be a fun one right here. We want to see her teeth coming together nicely. Frenchies historically have notorious for having underbites like you wouldn't believe. So let's have a look at the side here. And there you can see, look at that, perfect bite, absolutely perfect bite, top and bottom meet together. That's what we, do you see that?
And a trick is
Yeah.
whenever you're doing this on puppies,
Yes.
if you lift their lips, it
Okay.
closes up their noses, so it makes them panic a little bit. So if you need any extra help, go from the back.
Okay, well, let's
from
just
the
try
back of the
that.
jaw.
So what you're saying is go like this?
Yeah, go from the back. There we go.
And there you can see it there for a second.
Yeah.
So the point here is you want to see teeth that come together close. Look, you can expect to see the bottom jaw like this some. That's called an underbite. Flat-faced dogs tend to have underbites, and we don't want to see too much of an underbite. But this is the compromise between a flat-faced dog and one that has a nose on it. Let's see her profile. Let's see the profile on her. She's got a pretty flat face. And a flat face can produce, can be a dog that has, you know, if you've got this bottom jaw sticking out, you can expect an underbite. God, you're a cerebral puss, aren't you? Okay. All right, so now let's look at her eyes. What we want to see is nice, clear eyes. We don't want to see any discharge from the corner of the eyes or any boogers. Man, she's hard to hold on to. Don't want to see any boogers.
She might have to go potty.
Now, you do see stains. You do see these stains, but that's because she is a cream. She's actually a platinum.
Platinum.
So you just, all dogs are going to have a stain. You just won't see it very much unless you've got a cream colored dog, and then it will show up. This is not a problem. If you don't like the stains, there are products like Angel Eyes that you can give dogs that will reduce that staining quite a bit. And people in the show ring use wipes and they use Angel Eyes, which is actually a product you give them that changes the enzyme from the tear ducts. And she'll probably get that because it's kind of a beauty thing. But absolutely, this is not a problem. This is not a discharge that's an issue at all. So then look at her eyes. So we want to see that her eyes are nice and clear and bright, not red, and that she's got even structure on both eyes. And she does.
There. Look at you being still. It's possible.
And then we want to look, and by the way, this is one of the things that comes, this is to look in the ears, but it's also useful as a light too. So there's a nice light there as well. So I want to look at her eyes. And what I'm looking for here is the sclera. Is this sclera, the white part, is it nice and clear? And it is. I want to look for the nictating membrane, which is on the dog. They have a third eyelid on the inside. I want to make sure that's not pooching out. So let's look at that. And it's not pooching out on that side. And no, my light doesn't want to work. And it's nice and not, just a little pink area right there. Not a pocket sticking out, so that's good. Okay, now the fun part, looking in the mouth. We want to see nice pink gums. Nice, there they are, nice pink gums.
She must have to go potty.
No, she just wants to play. So she quiets down when I stop. Nice pink, so she's got nice pink gums. I want to look in her mouth. I want to look at the roof of her mouth to make sure I don't see anything up there. So I'm going to do that real quick. This is going to be hard for you to see this. And my light does not want to work. Why is it whenever you try to do things? Thank you.
Oh, that's a fun toy. Let me see that.
See if I can get my light to work. All right. So this dog is such a wriggle puss, and Tammy knows as much as anybody about this. We've got Tammy as part of this process now. She wants to eat everything up. Look,
That's her bum.
this is not a bad thing. If you've got a dog that doesn't want to keep still, this is just a puppy. This is a puppy that's excited. So this is not.
She's 9.5 weeks old.
Yeah, she's not a negative thing at all. But what you want to do is you want to look at her mouth, you want to see nice pink gums, and you want to see that all of her teeth are there, nothing there that looks like it's abscessed, and that it all looks nice and smooth and no funny colors anywhere. And I did that with this little light. So now we're going to go on to the next part. So now we've done the nose, we've done the eyes, we've done the mouth. Guess what's next? The ears. So we have this little device, a otoscope that comes with a puppy care kit, and I can now look down. You won't be able to see it. That looks good. Look at that ear. She's being pretty good right now. What time is it? I don't see anything there. Okay, here is the thing that you can do. Q-tip. Stick a Q-tip down in there. It should come out clean.
Not too far though.
Not too far. Look at that. That's as clean as can be. I mean, I could eat that.
Don't, because he will.
That's the way it should. If it comes back with dirt on it, this is not the end of the game. It just means the dog needs to have its ears cleared. And then, is it ear mites or is it a yeast infection? And a microscope and this, or a vet, can give you the answer to that.
Ear mites is usually black.
Yes. And she's nice and clean. All
And
right.
then smell.
Yeah,
Yes,
smell,
thank you. Very
definitely.
good. Guess what she smells like?
Baby,
Roses.
baby shampoo.
Well, she smells like a puppy.
Yes.
So the sniff test for generally smelling your whole dog is, the nose is a very sensitive thing that can smell, odors from the things that are rotting. And so A dog should not have any odorous smell, except when we get to the back end, of course. There can
Yes.
be a bit of an odorous smell there. But generally, she needs to smell nice and clean. She does. All right, so I think we've got this part. Now let's just talk about, well, we'll talk about structure later on, size of ears and all that kind of thing. This is not really part of this video.
And
All
she's
right.
still growing.
Yes.
Yes,
She's growing in different parts.
that's exactly right. And that's why I want to address that as to the structure of this dog. I mean, I think she's a really nice looking dog, but...
When puppies hit 9 weeks, they start going to that phase where one
Ugly
thing
duckling
grows.
stage.
Yeah, one thing grows at a time, and people will be like, "Oh my gosh, their ears," or "Oh my gosh, their legs," and it's just part of it, and it won't settle until they're done growing.
So if we could turn the camera around on Chanel, who's 28, you'll see that one of her legs is about 3 inches smaller than the other. We're hoping that she'll grow out of that by the time she's 40.
I had one woman tell me my dog never went through an ugly stage, and I went, "Oh well, great,
Good.
good
Lucky.
for you. You're the first."
Yes.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Okay, well this dog is definitely in the puppy.
I've never seen her
Quit
be
it.
like, she has to
Quit
have
it.
to go potty.
Well, yeah, she's got to.
She absolutely will cuddle up and be quiet. She
Yes.
absolutely will cuddle up, but she's just very excited
Well,
right now.
she just
She's-
had her bath, and she's.
Yeah, went outside, it was chilly, she got the all-overs.
But I think this is, we've got another video up, by the way. You can see us, we did another one about 3 years ago, and you can review that one to see a dog that's a little bit calmer in terms of doing all this.
Mr. Clooney.
But Mr. Clooney, that's right. But I mean, this is what your vet's faced with too. Nothing's a perfect world. You're not going to drug the dog so the dog can be quiet. This is the dog. Is the dog a playful dog?
Well, honestly, it's a good example because not every dog will be perfect whenever you're trying to do it at home.
That's exactly right. So while she's being calm here, we'll just go look at a few things. Let's look at her paws. So you can see that she's got her nails trimmed nicely.
She's
She's got nicely trimmed nails. If
She's
she
got
doesn't,
nice tight feet.
tell us what nice tight feet mean, Tammy.
It means they're nice and
They're nice and closed up, aren't they?
closed up.
They're not sprayed
spread
out.
like
Yeah.
that.
The dogs that have been in cages tend to have splayed out feet.
You shouldn't have used this bone. This bone's got flavor in it, and it's like driving her crazy, kind of like catnip.
I was thinking I was
No, that's
smelling
not the
something that
right
tasted
bone.
like I wanted to compete with her against. So when you look at the paws, look at the underneath the paws. Make sure they're all nice and soft. There's no ulcerations. If you do have ulcerated pads, you can put Neosporin on them. You can put booties on them. But some dogs could come to you with problems with their feet, and they can be rectified. But you want to see a nice tight paw if possible that looks no pain, no complaints when we're moving it. And you got to look at all 4 of them. Make sure they all 4 feet look
And
sensible.
in between the toes.
And in between the toes. So if you've got some junk in there, then the question is, what is that? And it's time to go get some of that out and look under a microscope. All right, so we're not going to do the back paws, but it's going to be the same thing on the back paws as the front paws. Okay, so now it's time for a general, let's feel all over this dog, and let's see if there's anything that feels different on one side than the other. Are there any bumps? Is there anything that causes her pain? Does she yelp out? Is there anything there that we think structurally, skeleton-wise, that's something that we should be concerned of? So while Tammy's got it here,
You can tell puppies and their new teeth, they're all the time needing something to chew on.
so I'm going to start here.
What are you doing?
I'm feeling for any abnormalities,
Oh, okay.
anything that's causing her pain, anything that there'll be something, anything that's open wounds, missing
wants that
skin, any of that kind of stuff. So this all feels really nice and soft and pliable. She's got a really nice coat. It springs back. See how it nicely springs back? It doesn't stick up and stay there. That'd be a dehydrated dog. Keep on feeling around. How's that going in the video? Can you see what I'm doing?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I'm feeling around.
Where's that bone? Here.
Feeling her legs, and generally everything, well not generally, but completely everything feels fine. I don't see anything here that is causing her or me any concern whatsoever. Okay, good. So now let's talk about joints. So one of the easiest way to evaluate joints is to watch the dog walking. You saw her outside walking, you see that she has a very straight gait, but let's just feel all of these joints to make sure all these joints look flexible and there's nothing funny going on. So that feels great. Back legs. This is where you get to these problems with what's called a luxating patella. This is where the patella slips off. So this is the patella. This is the knee joint right here. You can see me flexing the knee joint. So this is the place that you can feel the patella, and you want to feel whether that patella pops out of place as I exercise her leg. And the answer is it's absolutely staying in the groove. It's not luxating at all. That's great. one sign of this where you see a dog that's in trouble, it tends to have legs that kick out. They kick out when they're walking like this. It walks that land like this. You want to see a dog that has nice straight legs, and she does. All right. So now we're going to get to the back end, and Tammy doesn't want to. Tammy's concerned about this tail, and it's because it has a fat.
She's got so much fat back
She
there.
she looks like she has what you call a gay tail. We don't want to see too much
No,
tail.
she's got a lot of fat on top.
Let me show that. Yeah.
See
so
that?
so this here, the tail is actually down here. There's her tail. That's her tail right there. This is actually fat. That is all of that is just fat on top.
Fat and fur.
Fat and fur. Her actual tail is right there. So she's got a nice short tail. We don't want to see. There's the tail. You can see the tail. We want to see some tail. We don't want it to be inverted. We don't want a long tail. And what's going on here is this is just literally fat right here.
It is fat.
Okay.
Jiggly.
So next thing would be is a fecal test. So when we go to the vet, they will stick in a little collection specula, and they will go do a flotation and make sure that her poop looks good. I have poop that she's been pooping for the last 3 days she's been with us, and she produces nice little firm feces. I'm pretty damn certain that this dog does not have a problem at all. Okay, I'm not going to do this right now because I don't have any Vaseline here. But the next part of this test is to stick a thermometer into her butt about that far, grease it up first, and make sure that her temperature is something sensible. That would be something around 100.5. It would not be something that's above 101.5. That would be of concern.
Show again how deep.
About that far into her.
Turn it towards me. There we go.
About that far into her. Not like this. Stick it in a decent amount. Stick it in a decent amount. And you want to get this greased up to do that.
Yes. Lots of Vaseline.
Lots of Vaseline. Okay, so now we're coming to the back end of this. We're going to listen to her heart. So this comes with a puppy care kit. What we're going to do... Ba-bump, 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 ba-bump,
Show on this side.
ba-bump. Ba-bump. I don't want to hear a whooshing noise like a washing machine. Let's come on the side of here.
She's wanting that bone.
Sounds very good. So what we want to hear is a nice crisp ba-bump, 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 rub-dub, rub-dub. We don't want to hear a rub-sh-dub, rub-sh-dub. We don't want to hear some whistling noises like a washing machine. That would be indicative of a heart murmur. They're graded between 1 and 6. 1s and 2s typically go away, and they are fairly common in Frenchie and puppies. We don't see them, but they can happen. 4s, 5s, and 6s are a real concern, and those dogs typically don't grow out of it. And they can. 5s and 6s are, and I've got a whole thing on heart murmurs, so you can go review that.
And your vet will be able to grade it.
Absolutely, and I mean, you know, are you a vet?
No, but
Are you a vet?
I know
Nope.
when.
I'm not a vet. We're not vets. Do you like dogs?
Love them.
Do you like dogs?
Love 'em.
I love them too. So they are the best creatures on the face of the earth, in our opinions. But so we know a lot about dogs. We've been around dogs, Tammy and I, for 20 years, breeding dogs. And Chanel, who's 28 years old, has been around for most of her life, well, all of her life with
All of her
dogs.
life with dogs.
And
Yeah.
been around them since she was 8 years old. It's just, you know, for the last 20 years, you've really been, you know, entrenched in dogs too. So we know a lot about dogs. But remember, any advice that we give you is just purely speculative based on our opinion. And if there's anything that you think is wrong, go get a second opinion. And if this dog has a health guarantee. Any dog that you get should have a health guarantee. And part of that health guarantee says you've got to take this dog to the vet within 48 hours of getting it, allowing for the weekend, of course. You've got to take this dog to the vet within 48 hours to get it evaluated. So if there's any problems, you call me back and we then discuss what it is, and so we can have a resolution to it. So that's what you're doing today with Dr. Woggermoth in Weatherford, Oklahoma, right? But it's prudent that when you get a dog, that you go through the process that we're doing before you ever accept a dog, because you don't want to have a problem. Once you've paid your money and you've signed a contract, you're in a rather different situation than before you've actually handed the money over. So the point here is you know, learn about what you're doing so that you can be intelligent about evaluating a dog, because if it's a problem, you need to address it right there and then. Okay, what else have we missed on this, girls?
You see how pretty her eyes are.
Yes, we saw outside.
So she is a platinum merle, and she's got different colored eyes, and that's why you see
And
that.
she's just one little copy from being a new shade.
That's right.
She's
She's little d blue.
Platinum
She's
Isabella
little e
green
cream.
cocoa.
She's little b testable chocolate. She's big C little C, one copy of the other version
Did you
of
tell them what
chocolate.
her name is?
Yes, Whimsy.
Whimsy.
Little
She's
Whimsy.
ATA-T, isn't she?
Huh? Yeah,
She's
ATA.
Oh, ATA, no brindle, no pine.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Full pound health club.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of giving her the wrong bone because she is a wiggle butt right now.
She wants that. It's like catnip.
Yes.
It drives her
She is a
crazy.
cuddle bug.
So we're
Not
gonna,
right now.
the next step here is Tammy and Chanel are going to go to the vet. We'll give you a report back on another video, and then we'll go do an evaluation structurally of this dog and what we think the qualities or the low and the high points are on this dog. I think she's going to come up with a pretty good score. No dog's a 10, but I think she's pretty close to a 10.
Look at you.
Yeah.
There she
She told him
is.
that she didn't have any inguinals.
Yes, that's not, we didn't talk.
Oh, yes.
That's very good.
Yeah.
So this is very, very important.
This is how, when you pick up a puppy and you swing them like this, and if a little bump appears,
Right in this area here, where the crease is.
then you've got an inguinal hernia.
And you can push it back in, and if it pushes back and disappears, then it pops back out again. That's an
Now,
inguinal.
if they have an umbilical hernia, that's no big
Well,
deal.
let me finish on the
especially in
inguinals.
females.
You can see what you think is an inguinal, which is a fat deposit, and those typically will stay there all the time, and you can't push them in.
Yeah.
So now talk about
Yeah,
the
and if they have a little umbilical hernia, it will be right here. And when they're puppies and they've got brothers and sisters and they pick on one and hold it down and it's straining, if it's a thin lining in here, it'll rip that and a little hernia will stick out.
the size of a small pea.
Yeah, small pea. If it's the size of an eraser on a pencil or a small pea, usually that'll eventually cover up and it'll grow back.
Or you can.
Or whenever she goes in, if you're having puppies, she goes in for a C-section, you can have it repaired then. But if it's big as a pecan
Well, big at the end of your finger.
or your thumb, my thumb,
Yep.
then you might need to worry about it, watch it, because
Yes.
if it turns blue, then you got a strangulation going on.
So the umbilical hernia, which she doesn't have, would be something that's not, typically it's not
She doesn't
hereditary.
have any.
So that wouldn't be an issue. And a hernia here is something that we wouldn't breed a dog with a hernia. So that would be a problem.
And this is a good point to get multiple opinions if you do think you have one. Like
Yes.
take it to a
Yes.
vet,
Yes.
talk to your breeder.
Yes. So when we're talking about these things that you might repair, like an umbilical hernia or maybe nares, you can't do that till the dog's 6 months old.
Yeah.
You're not going to put
Yeah.
this dog under anesthesia at 9 weeks old. It's not happening.
And she has neither problem.
Yeah, she has. Yeah, I don't see that there's anything. I can't see anything wrong with this dog.
Did you say who her daddy is?
I haven't. We'll talk about the next video.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about the next
Okay.
video.
All
Yeah.
right.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay.
gonna
Well, I
hang
think
on.
that
Your hand is
I
in
think
the way.
that's enough on this one. But yeah. So it does take some time. What do they charge you when you go have an evaluation at Dr. Weathermoss?
It can be up to $50.
Yeah, so $50,
Yeah.
not very expensive.
No.
That varies by state, and
Yes.
some places will be a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
Some places will be that kind of price. I think out here in rural America, it tends to be the lower prices generally.
And if you have runny poop that you're worried about, have a stool sample.
Well, she'll do that today. I bet you she does a stool sample.
Yeah, and check to see what's in there.
And what we do before on the way to the vet to help out the vet, we have clear disposable spoons and a Ziploc baggie that you
Right,
can
right.
collect at home and then take to the vet. The vet may still do
Did
their
you
own
cook?
fecal test, but
You
it's good to
cook.
have both in case you say there's a problem and then you take it to the vet and then it's not
Good
there
point.
anymore.
So, especially if it's
so-
runny mess, right? Especially if it's runny mess.
Now, when you're bringing home a new puppy, make sure that the breeder gives you some of the food that the puppy's used to eating, because if you go straight to the food that you're feeding at home, oh my gosh, you will have runny mess.
So Faith
And that is
Skinner,
hard,
Will
and
have
they're
blood
already
in the
going through a
stool.
lot of stress. So you
Yeah,
don't want to
yeah.
add to
Faith
it.
Skinner being a good breeder, supplied us with a
supplied us, yeah.
whole thing of this.
But what you do is the first night you get your puppy home, go ahead and feed it its own food that it's been used to eating. The next morning, do half and half. If the puppy's already eaten a cup of food, do half of its regular
She's like,
food
"That's
and
my
half
food.
of its
That's my
food that you're
food."
wanting to feed. And then just gradually change it over. Oh, I'm
Oh, I
hungry.
love this little puppy, by the way. I think
Yeah,
this puppy is
she's
such a
funny.
great personality.
Yeah.
So this is another thing. Be prepared
Take
for
it
the
away.
fact that there's the first few days you have a puppy. There's two things that you can expect to happen. One of them is that she can be a bit stressed, and she can have problems with runny mess. It's not necessarily a problem. Coccidia and giardia are two things that are fairly common, and they definitely can be brought on by a puppy that's stressed.
I got you.
So this
Not
puppy
going
is not stressed at all. I can
No.
guarantee it.
I am.
The next thing is expect this puppy to do some whining at night for the first few nights. So you can absolutely have a lost sleep for the first few nights.
And she has
whine?
not. She's fit in so well.
She hasn't whined at all,
Yeah,
has she?
no.
We talked about this.
Oh, did you?
Mhm,
Okay.
yeah.
Not whined at all.
Isn't that cute?
Yes.
And here is the big takeaway on this whole thing.
Faith was really good.
Vaccinations and quarantine.
Yes.
Vaccination, quarantine. If you do not have a fully vaccinated dog, which at 9 weeks means 2 vaccinations, then you need to get it vaccinated and be very, very, very,
We
very
don't
careful.
let our puppies leave home till they're 9.5 or 10 weeks old after they had their second shot. If they're coming to pick it up, then they can
Which
go
in this case, this girl here, she had her interceptor shot done on December the 23rd,
Okay.
and we picked her up the 21st.
21st.
Yeah, and we picked her up Christmas Day.
No. It was
Sunday day after.
Sunday, the day after.
So that was 4 days after.
Or Monday, the
Fi-
26th, 2 days after Christmas.
So it's 5 days after a shot, which is
Well,
great. This is what you
day
should do
after
because
Christmas.
you can have a reaction to a shot, and you don't want to have a puppy that's having shot reactions. This is very uncommon, but it can happen. So again,
Just be prepared of the
Faith,
what ifs.
Faith knows what she's doing, so
Oh, yeah,
she
she
made
did.
sure that this. I mean, and then there's the other thing. You know, this dog came to us having had a bath with clean ears, with trimmed nails. You know, if
And
you.
Lynn Johnson, don't forget.
Yeah,
that.
I mentioned Lynn
Yeah,
Johnson, and
yeah.
it's world famous Frenchies.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. You know, when you pick up a puppy up, has someone taken the trouble? Surely they would to make sure. First off, this puppy had a health check before she ever came to us.
Yes.
And we got the report on that. But the second thing is, she's clean. She's got trimmed nails. She doesn't have boogers. She's got clean ears.
She's got clear eyes.
She's got clear eyes. These are all things that a responsible breeder would do, of which Faith is a prime example of that. So it's like, you want your puppy when
And
you...
then, when you're talking about her eyes, she's got a little bit of staining, which
We
is
talked
not a
about
big
that.
deal.
We talked about
Okay,
that.
did you?
We talked
Okay,
about all that, yes.
okay.
Staining is
okay.
clean.
Being
You would,
sweet.
on a brindle dog, you'd never see it. On a cream dog, you'll always see it. You'll
Oh,
always
yeah.
see a certain amount of staining, and it's completely
Yeah.
normal. And you can things that you can do, and we'll talk about that in the next video.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I think we've got to talk this to death now. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making this video because this girl is such a
Sweet
nice little
girl.
girl. Look
We
how
can't
attentive she
leave
is.
her alone.
Yes.
You sweet girl.
So,
she's finally wore
so the
herself
last
out.
part about this is that she is not going to be around any of our other dogs for 2 weeks.
No nose-to-nose contact
For 2 weeks.
for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
we
You can
know
have
you're
nose-to-nose contact
excited.
with me, can't you?
Yeah. We know
Can
you're
you make
excited.
it
You want to
for me?
show off your new baby,
Yes.
but honor your baby.
Where's the worst place to go with a new baby?
A dog park.
A dog
or
park. Where's-
someone else that has puppies.
Or
Or
PetSmart.
Or PetSmart.
Or the other buildings. that
it
have-
is heartbreaking whenever we're running errands in PetSmart or other places and we see a brand new tiny puppy in there, and it is almost guaranteed
So
it's a
we're going to
risk.
tell you a story about some friends of ours who live around this area who have got a couple of litters actually from dogs produced by us, and they then brought in a dog like this as a puppy. Guess what? The dog had parvo. They didn't know
And
it. Didn't quarantine.
Quarantine.
Didn't quarantine. The dog
Yeah.
hadn't had its full set of shots, so they didn't follow the advice we're giving you. And guess
And
what?
they got it from somewhere else. I don't know where.
2 litters, 1 puppy survived.
Yeah.
Parvo
Yeah,
is
horrible.
the most heartbreaking,
Yes.
long,
Just-
drawn out death.
Treat this like if it was a human baby. Do
Yes.
you take your brand new human baby?
I don't know.
out in
I've
the
seen new
world?
babies.
Well, yeah. Yeah. So,
Some people do. They shouldn't, though, should they?
No, they
shouldn't. They
Keep them
shouldn't.
at home.
But the
Till
problem
they
is,
finished up their 4th shot.
you're so
Yeah.
excited about your new
Oh,
puppy.
I know.
And the kids are so excited, and they want to show that puppy
I
off to all their
know.
friends. We
She'll
understand
still
this.
be a puppy when she's
That's right.
15 weeks old.
Yes.
Or just, you know,
You know, if you got your dog at 10 weeks, it's just 5 weeks being at home.
And we
They're
may
just-
do overkill, but whenever we have puppies at our house, I make my friends leave their shoes at the
There
door.
you go.
Everyone washes
Wash
their hands.
before
Right.
they touch a puppy.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Well, thanks for watching.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate people who subscribe to me. It helps me, encourage me to do more of these videos. But do remember, disclaimer here, I am not a vet. I'm not a licensed medical professional. I'm purely a person who's been breeding dogs for the last couple of decades. Any information that you got from this video, use at your own risk. There's nothing implied here, and certainly this should not be used as a substitute for advice from your veterinarian or your medical professional. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back for more of them. Bye.